Hey guys, welcome back to Kelly's Creations. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to have more fun with minis today. This is part 2. Last week's video, I made the little minis, and this week's video, I'm going to show you how to make a little structure to display them in. So, starting with a Dollar Tree little wooden house. I used this in a prior project, so what I did was just put a fresh coat of white paint on it. And this is going to be part of our structure. Now I got these stamps off of Amazon, and this stamp, it mimics the wood grain. So I'm using brown ink, and I'm also using black ink. And I'm going to put that stamp in my little house. Now I'm not going to try to get up into that triangle part because you're going to see what I do there. But this is kind of just a backdrop. I wasn't sure how much you were going to be able to see. And you can kind of see it when I'm done, but it's fun to put all these little details in. So I'm going to take that wood grain. I'm also going to go on the outside of the house as well. Not doing the top part, just the sides. So I'm going to flip that. I'm going to do both of those sides. I'm going to do the front little skinny part edge of the house, and I'm also going to do the inner sides. You'll see. So just by putting brown ink and black ink, and you can, as you can see right now, I'm going over it. When I did the other side, I think I like the middle part of this stamp better. It gives more of a wood grain look. And I just love these little stamps. I'll have them linked below. They're not that expensive. I think it's under $10. You get 4 of them. And for these kind of projects, it's so much fun to use. Plus, I love this effect. I'm going to be doing this on a little dresser that I add to this as well. So, yep, here I am doing the outsides, and I'm going to come in. I'm going to do the inner sides. Now, the inner side, you are going to see the backdrop. Probably didn't need to do it, but better safe than sorry. Look how cute that is. You get such an awesome wood grain. And I'm still learning. I'm so new to stamping, so new. So I'm still learning. So I'm going to take some spackling. And my spackling, even though I had it nice and sealed tight, was very, very, very dry. And I didn't have another one. So what I did is I scraped as much as I could out of there. I used a little teaspoon of white paint, and I added a little bit of water, and I just kept working it until it was like a putty consistency. Then I wanted the ceiling of this, and I wanted most of the wall to be this texture. So I just came in with my spoon and just started adding it and smoothing it out in the back, or using the back of the spoon, until I had that desired kind of stucco wall look. I do come down quite a ways over the stamping that I did, just because I wanted the wood and the stucco effect. So I don't know. I'm probably not explaining this totally right, but you'll see. You just keep adding, and then I was dabbing, and then I came in with the back of my spoon and kind of smoothed it out as well. So now I have it pretty much the way I want it. The spoon I was using, by the way, is you get a pack of them in the wedding section at Dollar Tree. They're wonderful for stirring, mixing, anything you'd use a spoon for, because you can just throw it away when you're done. So now we're going to make the roof. And I'm using some larger craft sticks for it. Right now I'm kind of, and this was actually kind of hard to hold in place, and I'm just eyeballing how many I will need for the roof, and decided 4 would be perfect. So I laid them all out. I took another craft stick and drew a line, kind of just eyeballing where the center would be. What's great about craft sticks is all you need is scissors to cut them. So I'm cutting these in half, and these 4 sticks will fill the whole roof, which is a bonus. So I'm using hot glue. I start on one side and see the lip. I'm using that as my starter point. So I go right to that lip and put my craft stick. This is going to kind of be like an overhang roof. So then I go to the other side and put some hot glue, and I work my way into the center. For the very last piece, all I do is add some hot glue, and I had cut another craft stick, and I'm just going to set that right in the center, and it will cover that gap, and it will kind of cover both sides as well. I know this is called something on a roof, and I cannot think of what that piece on all of our roofs are called, but this worked out perfect, and you have the cutest little roof on your house. Look how cute this is. I love the stucco walls. I love the fake wood look. It's just coming together nicely. So I grabbed some burnt umber, and I am going to paint my roof. I am going to paint the top. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to paint underneath, and that little lip where I, went up to when I was putting the roof pieces on, I'm going to paint that little lip as well, because when I was done painting, it just didn't look right. It needed to all be the same exact color. Always make sure, and I tell you guys this in every video, but somebody might need to hear this, when you're painting like this, flip your project. Flip it around, flip it on its side, flip it upside down, because it never fails. You will miss a spot. So coming in with that same stamp with the wood grain, now I'm just going to do black, and I'm going to set my stamp on top of the roof, press down, and voila, you have the most awesome wood grain look on your craft sticks. Absolutely love this stamp. Because I'm new and I didn't notice as I was going, I did have a couple of gaps on that first side. The second side turned out really, really good. But I should have went back over on the first side because there was a couple of gaps, but I can do that later. I'm also going to do the top piece and just put a wood grain effect on that whole roof. So cute, so easy to do. I just am in love with stamping right now, so I don't know why I never tried this before. The great thing about this, if you miss a spot, all you have to do is go back. You can go right over it, and it does not change the look. It just adds to the piece. So I'm going to give you guys a close-up view of how this roof turned out. So the next step is palettes. Again, these palettes were from Dollar Tree, and I painted them white. And I painted 4 of the Dollar Tree Jenga blocks white as well. These were stained because I had used them in a previous project, but you can find these palettes in their wood section at Dollar Tree. And now I'm going to come in with some sandpaper, and I'm going to sand both palettes down, really going down to that wood. Now, if you like this dark wood that's coming through, you would have to stain your palettes with some kind of stain first and then paint them white. So I'm sanding the edges, everything but the bottom. And that's what they look once they are sanded. So you can see the white, but you can see that wood coming through as well. I'm using hot glue and I am going to attach these palettes together. Now, when I said I used Jenga blocks from the Dollar Tree, I really wanted to let you guys know they were from the Dollar Tree because Jenga blocks from the Dollar Tree are smaller than normal Jenga blocks. And these are the ones that work. I had regular Jenga blocks too, and they were too big. So I'm going to take the two, I'm going to hot glue them together, take the other two, hot glue them together. Then the two that are hot glued, I'm going to glue them to the other two. So I have 4 Jenga blocks glued together. Now I'm going to flip that on its side and I'm going to hot glue that to the palettes. And right in the center, just eyeballing it because I eyeball everything. So what this does is gives me a platform. And the house fits perfectly on this little platform of Jenga blocks. It also, see, there's a little gap. It also, when you put the house on it, is totally flush to the palettes. Totally flush. I couldn't have planned this better myself. So that worked out amazing. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to work on my little dresser that's going in here. This dresser is going to be easy peasy. Using Waverly and Peacock. And I chose this color because everything I made so far is either white or dark rusted. So we needed a pop of country color in here. And I love this peacock. Now, if this is too bright for you, what you do is paint it, come in with some of that antique wax, go over it. It'll dull it down a little bit, but I really liked the brightness because this piece needed some color. So again, I went flipped, flopped every direction, made sure all little cracks and crevices were painted. I painted the legs the same color because you're really not going to see them. Now I'm going to come in with that beautiful wood grain stamp again, and I'm going to stamp the dresser. So using black ink, I flip it over and I start with the top. I set my stamp down and I stamp the top of the dresser to give it a wood grain look. Then I flip it down flat and I'm going to get into all the little grooves and gaps of the drawers. At first I wasn't sure if this was going to work because I wasn't sure if I would be able to get in to all the little crevices, but it worked out perfect. Look how stinking cute that is. I absolutely love the stamp. Have I said that already? So because the stamp is so easy to maneuver, you can start with the middle of the dresser and then you can go on the edges and then you can even get in between the drawer knobs. Really simple, and then you have a really awesome wood grain on your dresser. I also do this to the sides as well. So easy because that stamp is so easy to maneuver into those spaces. And look at that. I absolutely love that. I love the blue. I love the wood grain look on it. I think that turned out perfect. And yeah, especially for my rustic country little she shed. So easy peasy. So now it's time to start assembling. I'm going to add some hot glue to the back of that dresser, making sure I add quite a bit so it doesn't flip-flop out. And then I'm going to set that not center, but as far left as I can go with it. And look at that pop of color in there. Oh my gosh. Now here's where I said at the beginning, you're not seeing the wood grain as much, but you wouldn't have wanted it just to be white. I don't know. I think that's the little details that make the difference. So I'm glad, even though the dresser covered up a lot of that wood grain on the house itself, I'm still glad I did it. So now I'm going to add those rustic pictures that I made last week. If you haven't checked out last week's video after this one, go to it, because I showed how I made all of these miniature pieces, embellishments that I'm adding in last week's video. So anybody who missed that video, after this one's done, it'll be in the playlist. Go back and you can see how I made all these little pieces. So I take each of those pictures and I hot glue them to the wall. Look how cute this is turning out. Now I take one of my bottles that I had stamped words on, and I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue. I'm going to hot glue that down to the dresser. I love this little house. Oh my goodness. Now this is that newspaper scrapbook paper that I told you guys about last week, and I used it on the can. So what I'm going to do here is I cut 2 pieces down to size, and then I crinkled them up in my hands, and then I hot glued them to the top of the dresser. It makes it look like older and like they've been used. I don't know how to explain it. I just thought it would be cool to crinkle them up and put them on the dresser that way. So I add 2 pieces to the dresser. Then I cut a smaller piece. I add a little hot glue in the grooves of where the drawers are, and I hot glue the smaller little piece of newspaper in one of those grooves to make it look like paper is coming out of one of the drawers. Now I'm going to take one of my bottles, I'm going to hot glue just the back, put hot glue on the back of it, and put that in the corner on the floor. And when I put these 2 pieces together, it's going to be flush with the deck. So that one is going into the corner on the side of the dresser. And now we're going to attach the house to the deck. So the house goes on those Jenga pieces. So I'm going to add some hot glue on top of those Jenga pieces. And I'm going to take my house and I'm going to glue it down to the Jenga pieces, I can't speak, which is going to make it flush with the deck. Oh my gosh, can you see yourself like sitting out in the chair with a newspaper and some coffee, or I just showed my age, not a newspaper, your tablet and some coffee. I love this little house. Okay, so now we're going to add the chair. So I position the chair on the deck where I want it, and then I'm just going to add just a couple dabs of hot glue to 2 of the legs, just to keep it in place so it doesn't fall off and go anywhere. We want to keep it where we want it. So I'm going to glue the chair down. Ah, so cute. Sorry. And then I'm going to take the little can, make sure my label's facing forward, add some hot glue to that little guy, and I'm going to glue the can to the chair. where it's coming along so nice. Look at that. I love that pop of blue. Tell me in the comments what you guys think. Don't you think that's exactly what it needed? It needed that pop of the blue. So the white can I'm going to put in front of the other can, and then the other tall black can, or it was a bottle, but now they look like cans to me, I am going to put on the other side behind the white. The cans are what I lost footage of last week, but one of them is stamped with a cow and one of them is stamped with a rooster. So they're really cute. And I will, at the end of this video, give you an up-close and personal view of this whole thing. So there's my cans outside. Now it needed something. So I'm thinking, what can I use? And then I remembered I had bought one of these placemats from Dollar Tree that I knew I was going to use as cloth. So I'm like, that will be the perfect little rug for this little she shed. So I grab that tablecloth or placemat, and I'm going to cut it into an oval shape. And then I'm going to just start shredding the edges just by pulling on the strings, and it'll come off and it'll start fraying. And then you just keep doing it. You do it as much fray as you want. Just keep pulling. I do take my scissors and I trim up the sides, and I do trim up both ends, kind of make them into a triangle shape. And then I do trim up the sides just a little better, just so it's not all messy. I wanted it a little bit neater than that. And then I frayed it just a little bit more. And that made the most cute rug ever. Oh my gosh. And it was the perfect little accessory that this home needed. So I put some hot glue on that rug and I glued it down into the middle of the deck. So easy. Oh my gosh. I'm going to show you a little view of how it's coming along. I don't think it needs anything else. I think it's just so cute. This would be so cute displayed out, especially for summer. I had one of these little windmills that Dollar Tree sells. Originally, I was going to attach it somewhere on the deck, but I just couldn't find the right spot. But it does fit perfectly just standing next to it on the side behind those bottles. And I'm going to show you guys an up-close view now. I think this is so cute. It turned out, I'm so happy with how this turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love making minis. I've taken a break from it just because I couldn't think of an idea, but I might make a few more of these little displays. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see more and what theme you would like to see. I love you guys so much. I have the best subscribers ever. Don't forget, hit that like button. It helps out my channel so much. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe, ring that bell for future notifications. I post every Tuesday. I hope you guys have a blessed and most wonderful week. I love y'all, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye, y'all.